You're watching, yes, the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
It is time for the September Subway Series, and we've never had a bigger one. Playoff implications as the Yankees take on the Mets. Big names, big bats that will have to be quieted. The Mets could clinch, and the Yankees could try to get the American League East title. Yeah, it's time for baseball as the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. Tonight, it's the New York Yankees against the New York Mets in the first of three from Citi Field in Flushing, New York. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball, along with John Flaherty and David Cohn. I'm Michael Kay. This is a big series, and it's a big pitching matchup in this game. So we'll take a look at that first. And the pitching matchup, as always, brought to you by People's United Bank N.A. See what know-how can do for you. Long Island's own Steven Matz will get the start for the Mets, 3-0, 1.88. And for the Yankees, it's Masahiro Tanaka. If he's done anything the last couple of starts, David, he has shown I'm the ace of the staff.
Yes, he has, and he wants the ball. No more extra rest. Tanaka actually asked for the ball in the previous start, and he wants it tonight against the Mets. I think he recognizes how much he's needed in this depleted rotation, and he has answered the bell. A real control artist on the edges with all of his pitches, but yet not many walks. Truly remarkable pitcher. Gets hitters to chase out of the zone and doesn't walk anybody.
Now, the start against Baltimore was a beauty. 8 innings, 6 hits, a run, 1 walk, and 10 strikeouts. Yankees lost the first 3 games of the series against Toronto, and Tanaka stepped up and came up big, the definition of an ace. And he is going to have to really be dealing to get out Yoenis Cespedes. He's been the key for the Mets since coming over in a trade.
Well, it was a great addition, Cespedes coming over from the Detroit Tigers. Not only does he bring the power, 17 home runs, 42 RBIs, but he is a superstar quality player in New York, and it's desperately what the Mets needed. Not only is he getting the job done, taking the heat off of the rest of the lineup, and they're producing as well.
Yeah, it is a big series. Who'd have thunk it when you saw the schedule when it came out that this series would mean something for both teams? What does it mean? Meredith Marakovits will detail next, right here on Yes.
Seasons of interleague play. Aside from that 2000 World Series, this is the latest in the regular season that the Yankees and the Mets are playing each other. Alex Rodriguez spoke in the clubhouse the other day, and he was asked what this series means to the team, and he simply said it means everything. New York is the capital of the baseball world, and to have both of these teams relevant at the same time, this one can be a very important series. Perhaps a little more so for the Yankees than for the Mets. If you take a look at the Lowe's never stop improving standings, the Yankees are currently 3.5 games back from the Blue Jays in the AL East, 3 games back in the loss column. They have a pretty secure hold on that wild card, but with 17 games remaining this season, the Yankees can take any win they can get right now. Couple lineup notes with left-hander Matz on the mound, Jacoby Ellsbury out of the lineup, Chris Young is in. Also, Brian McCann has the evening off. Plenty more to come here on the S Network. Michael Kay, David Cohn, and John Flaherty coming your way next. Game 1 of the 3-game Subway Series after the break.
GMC.com. By Advanced Radiation Centers of New York. When it comes to fighting cancer, precision is everything. Call 844-2-RADIATION-DOC. By RE/MAX. Nobody sells more real estate than RE/MAX. And by Mazda. Driving matters. It is a summer evening here in New York City. A perfect backdrop for the Mets against the Yankees, the best and most important Subway Series in the regular season we've had since interleague play began. Obviously, the biggest and most important Subway Series was in 2000. That was the World Series. But since they started doing it during seasons, this is the biggest and the best. Well, the first place Mets take the field. And we're going to take a look at tonight's Yankees starting lineup, which is presented by Lexus. The Yankees come in at 80 and 65, and they'll lead off their center fielder Brett Gardner, batting second and playing third base Chase Headley. Carlos Beltran's in right field, he'll hit third. Cleaning up the left fielder Chris Young. Greg Bird's at first base, he'll bat fifth. Batting sixth and catching John Ryan Murphy. That's right, no Brian McCann. Joe Girardi says he's not going to play 17 games in a row. A day game tomorrow. The shortstop D.D. Gregorius will bat seventh. Batting eighth, playing second base Brendan Ryan. No DH in the National League City, so the pitcher is Masahiro Tanaka, and Masahiro will bat ninth.
And here's the young phenom lefty flash, Steven Matz, the pride of Long Island. You know how you know you're from Long Island when you say Long Island, you know, instead of Long Island. He's definitely a Long Islander, the pride of Melville High School, and on the season, that's a pretty impressive start for a young lefty. Spent some time on the DL, and he is back. Probably figures prominently in their postseason plans as well. Let's go ahead and check out the pitcher scouting report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealer. And as we just said, he grew up a Mets fan, the pride of Ward Melville High School. Pretty impressive. Not too many kids from Ward Melville High School are pitching here at Citi Field against the Yankees. And a great start. We saw his numbers. He is the first Met to start his first 4 games and go 3-0 or better with an ERA below 2. And the playoff rotation, that's the big question with the Mets in terms of innings limits and all these young arms and Matt Harvey, where he's going to figure into the rotation. Well, this kid, he doesn't really have an innings limit because obviously in the minor leagues he was kept down a little bit in terms of innings pitched, and he had the stint on the DL, which limited his innings. So if he's healthy, he should be good to go. It's going to be a key piece of that rotation moving forward.
Why don't we check out the defense behind Mats for the Mets? And it is presented, as always, by Geico. The rookie Michael Conforto is in left. Yoenis Cespedes in center. And Curtis Granderson over in right. In the infield, it's David Wright. Flores, Murphy, Duda, that's third to first. Travis d'Arnaud behind the plate. And Steven Matz is on the mound. So the Mets are trying to clinch the National League East. The Yankees are trying to catch the Toronto Blue Jays. They come into action tonight, 3.5 games behind Toronto. Toronto won last night while the Yankees were idle, and yesterday's off day for the Yankees, the final off day they will have in the regular season. They'll close with 17 straight games starting tonight. It's a full house here at Citi Field, not a seat available, and it'll be 3 games of this magnitude tomorrow afternoon and then Sunday night here in Queens. Jacoby Ellsbury has the night off. Brett Gardner leads off. He digs in. He's ready. Steven Matz is ready. And let's do it here at Citi Field. And the first pitch is a strike. We're underway. Home plate umpire James Hoy. The crew chief John Hirschbeck at first. Laz Diaz at second. And John Tumpane is over at third. The left-hander deals the 0-1. Low, 1-1.
David, you were bringing up the possibility of a postseason start for Mats, and everybody's making such a big deal of the Subway Series, the electric atmosphere here tonight, and they're going to pay attention to how he handles that. It really feels like a playoff atmosphere.
Well, the general feeling with Mats is he has to pitch his way out of the playoff rotation. That's how highly they think of him, and as David said, he's got innings to give. There's no limit on what he can throw. So Terry Collins and crew are watching very closely. And the 1-2. 2-2.
We're going to get a good look at Matz and his stuff tonight. Usually about 94 with his fastball, but he's dialed it up a little bit firmer early on, 96 and 97. But that slurvy type breaking ball, David, that's a pitch that stands out for me.
2-2. Work the count full. Gardner trying to scratch his way on. The payoff. And he does. On a leadoff walk for Brett Gardner. Let's look at the game time weather presented by Bigelow Tea. It's a hot night. 75 degrees, 12 miles per hour is the wind. Humidity is 66%. And the forecast is for mainly clear skies and pleasant overall.
Got a little Indian summer going on here. Still beach weather.
So Gardner's at first, held there by Duda. And here's Chase Headley batting in the number 2 hole. Count 1-0. Mets have lost their last 2 after winning 8 in a row. Yankees just took 2 out of 3 in St. Pete against the Rays.
It's amazing, Michael, when you look at all the odds makers and the percentages and the odds of the Mets getting to postseason winning the division are pretty close to 100% right now, but it was the same way for Willie Randolph when they were up 7 games with 17 to play a few years ago. So that's in the back of Mets fans' minds. But this is a little different team. They're a little deeper team and probably a different story than it was then. Terry Collins has got more weapons than Willie Randolph had back then. I really thought it was unfair to blame Willie for that collapse back then.
Well, David Wright, who was on that 2017, and you see Miami's jumped out to a 2-0 lead over the Nats. He said the difference between that team and this team has very good pitching. That team was built on hitting. One. Fly ball right field. On the run is Granderson. He makes a play in right center for the first out of the game.
If there was ever a time for the Yankees to get back into running mode, Brett Gardner right here, this is a good time, even though Matz is a lefty. If you can get a good read up of him, but d'Arnaud more known for his bat than his throwing. And with the Yankee lineup, makeshift lineup, you would think you'd be in manufacture mode early here.
Well, when you look at some of the bats that are missing from this lineup, Ellsbury, through Joe Girardi's choice, Alex Rodriguez because there's no DH, Mark Teixeira because of injury. That one is looped into right field. That's going to dunk in for a base hit. Gardner running all the way. Will get to third easily. Good read by Gardner. Knew that Granderson couldn't get there. So it's a bloop single by Beltran. It's first and third, one out for the Yanks.
Well, David, it wasn't the stolen base, but speed definitely a big part of this. And you're right, Michael. Gardner had a great read off the end of the bat. He knew Granderson had to respect the power of Carlos Beltran. And take a look at his secondary. He knows it's going to find some real estate and cruises into third base easily. I looked at the lineup tonight and completely surprised. Ellsbury, I know he's been struggling a little bit lately. McCann out of the lineup. There was a time back in the day, Subway Series, your regulars were running out there 3 days in a row.
Certainly raised some eyebrows when the lineup was posted today.
I think the big surprise was McCann, who's so important to what they do, and without A-Rod in the lineup, you miss that power bat as well. But Girardi said he's not going to play the last 17 games in a row, so he has to have days off.
He had a day off yesterday, didn't he?
Yep. And I guess the day game after night game scenario, he said, listen, I'll rest him against the lefty.
Hey, listen, Joe Girardi has been disciplined all year. He knows his players better than we do, but you just think about what a big game it is. It's so easy for a manager to throw that everyday lineup.
Chris Young hits a fly ball to center. Cespedes makes the catch. Tagging is Gardner. Throw comes into second. It's a sac fly for Chris Young. And the Yankees have a run.
Well, one way you can make your manager look good when you get a chance to play against a lefty is do a nice job of situational hitting. Behind in the count early. Muscles one to center field. You see the target is elevated and Chris Young just gets underneath it. Sacrifice fly and the Yankees are on the board.
I think d'Arnaud wanted a little better pitch there. 0-2. Chris Young, a good fastball hitter.
Here's Greg Bird. And there's a strike to the rookie first baseman. Last 12 games, 5 home runs, 11 ribbies, hitting .262. Some big home runs in there as well. 1-1.
There are some young players that you think this might get a little bit away from them. The big moments, Subway Series. Greg Bird, not one of those players. He's going to be very under control.
Beltran leads off first. The 1-2 to Bird is up and away, 2-2. So a walk to Gardner. Fly ball to right. A single to right moves Gardner to third. Then a sac fly, and it's 1-0 Yankees. And the 2-2. That one is looped into left field. It's going to dunk in for a base hit as Beltran moves to second. Well, they have certainly not tattooed Mats, but they've certainly found the holes.
Yeah, when breaking balls are up, even though they're jam shots, you see him readjust as he plants his foot. A lot of times you kind of hit it like they threw it, Flash. It's kind of a soft breaking ball up, and Greg Bird kind of gets fooled and hit it just like he threw it. Threw it out there in the left field, finds the grass.
I'm surprised at that pitch right there. Watch video all day, Matz, and the breaking ball was sharp. Good off-speed pitch. That real lazy right there, and Bird takes advantage of it.
There's John Ryan Murphy. Count 1-0. Mets confusing John Ryan Murphy with Chase Headley, as the face on the scoreboard is in fact Chase Headley. Murphy would like to chase some runs home here.
Been swinging the bat well as of late.
Fastball strike.
Murphy in that perfect situation. Brian McCann gets a night off. You wonder if Matt's maybe, oh, okay, I got a little soft spot right here. And you're right, David. Been swinging the bat well. Home runs are starting to show up.
One and two.
Murphy over his last 30 games, a .312 hitter.
Grounded to David Wright. Across the diamond, they get Murphy, and that'll do it. Well, the Yankees get a run on 2 hits. They lead 2 as the Yankees won, and the New York Mets coming to bat. Takes them out against this Mets starting lineup, presented by your local Acura dealer. Former Yankee right fielder Curtis Granderson leads off, batting second and playing center field Yoenis Cespedes. Daniel Murphy at second base hits third, cleaning up the captain, third baseman David Wright. Lucas Duda at first base will bat fifth, batting sixth and catching Travis d'Arnaud. Michael Conforto, the impressive rookies in left field, batting seventh, batting eighth, playing shortstop Wilmer Flores, and Steven Matz will pitch, and he'll bat ninth.
As Masahiro Tanaka is ready to go. His warm-ups are done. Very aggressive, ready to pitch tonight. On the season, solid all the way around. Only 26 walks in 143 innings.
And Curtis Granderson will dig in. Leadoff hitter for the Mets. 85 walks and 88 runs scored. And the pitch is outside 1-0.
Let's go ahead and check out your pitcher scouting report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. And he did have a shutout, the Subway shutout, May 14th of last year here at Citi Field. Regular guys' numbers are actually better on regular rest. He's got a 2.45 ERA and 4 starts this year on regular rest. And in his career,
3.61, so pretty good numbers. And the thrill of the chase, this is the key for me, Flash. And he's got the highest percentage of pitches that hitters chase out of the strike zone in the major leagues, 39%. And just to bring that into context a little bit, on average, major league pitchers get about 31% chase rate on pitches out of the strike zone. Tanaka, clearly the best in the big leagues at getting hitters to swing at his pitch.
Grounded to first. Greg Bird gobbles it up, and there's one away. And that'll bring up Yoenis Cespedes, and it's time for our Chrysler's Hitters Scouting Report.
Well, it really is incredible what Cespedes has done since he's come over here to the Mets. A difference maker, 295, 17 bombs, 42 RBIs in only 43 games. But he is the same guy that he's always been. He's only walked 30 times this year. You can pitch him out of the strike zone, David, just like Tanaka likes to do. And he's playing center field, and you don't really think of him as a center fielder, but that's where the need is for this Mets club. Not really known as a outstanding defensive player, but getting the job done in center field.
And Cespedes takes a strike. Overall, he's got nice numbers going into free agency. 35 homers, 103 runs batted in. He has 17 homers with the Mets. That one he pops up. Headley will make the play to retire Cespedes. I want to check out the Yankee defense behind Masahiro Tanaka. It's presented by Geico. Young, Gardner, and Beltran. Left to right in the outfield. Infield, Headley, Gregorius, Ryan, and Bird. Third to first. Murphy behind the plate. Tanaka is on the mound. Daniel Murphy takes a strike.
Well, you look at this lineup for the Mets, and you would think Cespedes would be 3, maybe 4 with that big bat in the middle. Terry Collins splitting up the lefties and the righties. Murphy batting third.
And Murphy lofts one to left field. Chris Young is there, and Tanaka works a 1-2-3 first inning here at Citi Field. We played 1-0 Yankees. official hybrid vehicle of the Yankees. You think MLB should consider a rule change on takeout slides with player safety in mind? Why or why not? The Rio Grande says as long as the runners make an effort for the bag, it's part of the game. Follow Yes Network and tweet us your responses using hashtag Yankees Prius. Keep the conversation going. D.D. Gregorius gets down 0-1 in the count. Matt steals a strike to start the second inning. And let's see, it's a foul ball. I guess didn't get him on the hand. Just a foul ball for Gregorius, 0-2.
Well, Gregorius is an honest guy, right? No play here, no acting. Throw down the bat and start shaking your hand. None of that.
The 0-2. 1-2. Now the question about slides comes into play because of what happened to the Pirates' Young-Ho Gong on a takeout slide. This was Cubs against the Pirates. Hotly contested series. Strike three. Gregorius down looking. I mean, you hate to see anybody get hurt, but it didn't seem like it was an unfair slide.
No, and if you watch the slide, you can see the hand going for the bag, so clearly making contact with the bag, and obviously, like you said, you don't want to see anybody get hurt. But my thought on this as a middle infielder, you have to find a way to make sure you're getting out of the way, whether that's jumping over the runner, because that slide to me did not look dirty. And I relate it back to when I was a catcher. If you're going to stand in there, you're going to take a shot, you're risking getting hurt. You got to find a way to avoid the contact.
You know, that's a great point. You know, Gong has been moved all over the field. Kind of a super utility. His offense has been great all year, but he went towards the runner on that play. It was very highly unlikely you'd turn the double play rather than staying on the bag and moving back or the other way. He kind of ran towards the runner a little bit, trying to turn on a double play that probably wasn't going to happen anyway.
Torn meniscus, broken tibia, expected to miss 6 to 8 months. Two and one on Brendan Ryan. 1-0 Yankees, bottom, should I say top of the second inning here at Citi Field. Strike.
And this is one of those innings when you pitch in a National League park, it's a pitcher's dream. You get that first out, and you have Brendan Ryan hitting eighth, not swinging the bat great lately, and then you have the pitcher spot. It could be a very easy inning. It really is a huge difference from the American League game where you got to finish off every inning. In the National League, sometimes you get some freebies the way it's lined up.
Kind of quietly under the radar, Brendan Ryan's numbers versus left-handed pitching this year, very good. 286 average and a 333 on base percentage to go with a 500 slugging percentage. So not something you think about with Brendan Ryan, but that is why, because of those numbers, that he's playing against lefties.
Ground ball left side, grabbed by Flores. It's an infield single for Brendan Ryan.
Great point about the National League style of game, Flash. You get a chance to clear the pitcher spot here with a bunt. Hopefully productive for the Yankees, and you get a chance to get your leadoff hitter an at bat with a runner in scoring position. But it's a big challenge for American League pitchers to just execute on a bunt.
If you're Joe Girardi and the coaching staff, you're just holding your breath right here, hoping that this spot is executed, get back to the dugout healthy. But Tanaka doesn't swing the bat too bad.
Fouls that one off. 1-1.
To me, this is where a good National League pitcher with good stuff can take advantage of a pitcher. You just don't throw it in there and let him bunt. You really pound him in or throw a breaking ball. Really challenge him. Just don't lay it in there.
There's a bunt. Darno fields and throws to second. And they get the out at second. Let's see if the Yankees challenge. That's a pretty nice play by Flores to keep his foot on the bag.
Well, it really is, but that's a freebie for d'Arnaud behind the plate. I mean, that bunt was right in front of him, a clear lane towards second. The throw was yanked to the shortstop side, and you're right, a great play by Flores just to hold on. Now the question, did Ryan get there beforehand? Wow. A great play by Flores just to catch it and try to keep his foot on the bag. I think he's out.
I don't think there's anything conclusive there that you could challenge. Outstanding play for Flores.
d'Arnaud behind the plate, you know, his heart was racing right when he let go of that. An easy play could have very easily been first and third.
So you score that at 2-6. Tanaka reaches on the fielder's choice. And that brings up Gardner. He walked to open up the game, came around to score on a sac fly by Young.
See Brett Gardner's numbers been better as of late after a recent slump. Still on the year, 90 runs scored. 6th best in the AL.
So 1-1 on Gardner. Of course, not holding on to Tanaka at first. One and two.
It looks like Matz has kind of settled in a little bit here in the second. I thought in the first inning maybe a little jumpy, ball jumping out of his hand at 96. Now he's settled in at that 94. Everything seems to be located just a little bit better. I'm sure he had to be pumped up there in that first inning. David, I'm sure that coaching staff and Terry Collins kind of watching his mannerisms to see maybe he's a little too amped here in the Subway Series.
Well, you made the point before, Flash. It's a good test. Even though they're counting on Matz, this is a nice little dry run for the Mets to see how he reacts. And it's not just another game for a kid from Long Island who was a Mets fan growing up.
That one is lined in the left center field. It's a base hit. Tanaka will stop at second, so a single for Gardner.
That's throwing a lot of fastballs. You know, he's thrown a couple of breaking balls that haven't been great, but he's kind of staying away from it. And Brett Gardner takes advantage of that fastball out over the plate and elevated. I know he doesn't have a good breaking ball early, but you got to go back to him and expect sometime to get a better feel for it.
Kind of a sure sign of nerves creeping in is when your misses, when you're ahead in the count, are over the plate as opposed to off the plate.
Good call right there from d'Arnaud. A little first pitch breaking ball, first strike, settle him down a little bit, slow him down a little bit.
And Headley hits one to left field. Going back Conforto, and he makes a play on the track and goes up against the wall for the final out. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 left. Inning and a half in the books, 1-0 Yanks. Anna Report, brought to you by Mohegan Sun, full of action, full of possibilities, full of life.
Well, coming into this year, we heard all about the young guns and how they were going to carry the Mets, and they have been advertised. Harvey, Syndergaard, DeGrom, and Matz tonight. But it's really been the tale of two different seasons for Terry Collins. Before July 25th, the Mets averaged 3.4 runs a game. After that, 5.9 runs. And obviously Sandy Alderson with the Cespedes trade, a lot of credit for that. But since that trade, everybody else has played better offensively. Kadire, Lagares, Conforto, Flores, d'Arnaud. You can also talk about Kelly Johnson and Uribe, who came in to give them a little bit more depth. All those guys hitting over 300 since that trade. So it's been a collective group that's gotten the job done.
So Matz has pitched 2 innings, giving up a run in the first. Tanaka, after spending a couple of minutes on the bases, takes the mound for the bottom of the second. And he'll face David Wright. It's been a long drought for the Mets in terms of playoff baseball, and no one's happier with the thought of playing October baseball than David Wright. No one's happier about being on the field than David Wright, who's missed most of this season because of spinal stenosis. He worked really hard to get back, and he's been contributing since he did. The 0-1. Ground ball is short. Gregorius gets right. 1 out. If things hold up and the Yankees make the playoffs and the Mets make the playoffs, it would be just the 4th time that the Yankees and the Mets reach the playoffs in the same year. And it's all fairly recent vintage. 1999, Yankees won the East, Mets won the wild card, lost to the Braves in the NLCS. Yankees ended up winning the World Series against the Braves. 2000, Yankees won the East, Mets won the wild card again, got to the World Series against the Yankees. Yankees won. Pitch to Duda was a strike. And in 2006, Yankees won the East and the Mets won the East. The Yankees lost to the Tigers in the ALDS, and the Mets lost to the Cardinals in the NLCS. A very painful loss with Carlos Beltran looking at a called 3rd strike to end the series.
I always thought that was a little unfair to Beltran. It was Adam Wainwright and his curveball. It was a snapdragon that just locked him up, and not too many guys could hit Adam Wainwright's curveball, and he got blamed for not swinging the bat. A lot of guys don't swing the bat on his particular curveball.
Is it on 3-2 count?
I don't remember the exact count. I just know that
0-2.
It was a real good curveball.
Good pitch.
And Adam Wainwright's got one of the best ones of his generation.
Here it is.
I mean, that is a snapdragon, and it's right on the outside corner. Not too many people would, even if he did swing, would hit it.
One and two.
Tell you what, Tanaka looks sharp coming off that good outing against Toronto. Fastball looks like it's located, going to the off-speed pitches early to get ahead. I don't know, David. He's kind of got that look in his eye like he knows what time of the year it is.
That one is drilled deep to right field. There it goes. See ya. Tie game.
Lucas Duda has been kind of the forgotten man with his injuries and all of the recent success from the Mets, and reasserted himself right here against Tanaka.
It's funny if you think about the last time these two teams played at Yankee Stadium. Duda was crushing the ball back then and struggling a little bit lately. And I was just talking about how good Tanaka has been. Made a big mistake there in a 2-strike count.
It looked like a hanging splitter from Tanaka. It stayed up, one of the few that stayed up.
Here's Travis d'Arnaud. Swing and a miss. So a 1-1 game here in the second.
Well, that's exactly what it was. It stayed right in the middle, so those become kind of BP fastballs.
It was so bad it didn't do anything.
Yeah, if you're a hitter, you're geared for the fastball, and then you get out there and it's a hanging splitter. It's just slower and it speeds you up. how you get the bat head out in front like that.
The Mets were talking about Duda, that they felt like everything was fine mechanically, just a matter of getting his timing back, and I'm sure that's going to go a long way confidence-wise.
22nd home run for Duda. He has 58 ribbies since coming up the DL. Before that at bat, he was 3 for his last 25. The 1-2. Popped up. Murphy gives it a look. It's out of play. They measured that home run by Duda at 421 feet. And it's Duda's first home run since August 2nd. Remember, there was a DL stint during that drought as well. The 1-2. Tap back to Tanaka. He'll get d'Arnaud for the second out.
Think about the Mets in the first half, and you mentioned it in your team scouting report, Flash. Just the limited options that Terry Collins had. Some of his 3 and 4 hitters in the first half, they really got caught short. Eric Campbell batting fourth. No longer here. Now this guy's here. Michael Conforto, one of the bright young prospects on the hitting side. And now they have some pieces and some options. And almost platoon first base with Duda and several right-handed bat options. Michael Kadire. You have Kelly Johnson, Juan Uribe.
That's the thing when I look at it. The bench now is a veteran, big-time bench.
And there's a ground ball to second. Ryan Fields to Bird, and that'll do it. But one swing by Lucas Duda has tied the score. He hit the facing of the second deck out in right field. It's a 1-1 game when it hit that sign. Games against the Mets, 1:05 tomorrow on Fox, and then Sunday, it's a Sunday night game on ESPN. Yankees then go to Toronto for 3 7:07 starts, all on Yes, and a 4-game series against the White Sox back at the stadium. Yes, a 4:05 start on Saturday on Pix 11,
and then a 1:05 start on Sunday on Yes. So the upcoming schedule as Beltran takes up and away from Matz. They erased the first inning run that Matz surrendered with the home run by Lucas Duda. It's 1-1 on the Audi A3 scoreboard.
The Yankees could catch a break in that White Sox series because Chris Sale is scheduled to pitch the day before. So if the White Sox rotation stays on track, the Yankees will miss him.
Beltran with a sky-high, shallow fly ball to center. Cespedes will make the play.
You looked at that schedule and 6 really intense games, 3 here at Citi Field, then you go to Toronto, and we all know how much those games are going to mean. And you hear it all the time in football, those trap games. Boy, that Chicago White Sox series at home, you know, it's so important just to win all the games that you're supposed to. You have to take advantage of that part of the schedule.
Bottom of the third inning in Toronto, and the Blue Jays have just scored a run. It's 1-0 over Boston. Yankees start the day 3.5 behind Toronto, 3 in the loss column. Chris Young's driven in the Yankees' only run with a sac fly in the first, and he's down in the count 0-2.
A lot of scouts place Steven Matz's changeup as his second best pitch coming up in the minor leagues this year. Do a good one right there. Talking to Joe Girardi before the game, that's kind of the report they had on Matz as well.
Look at that delivery, though. It's so easy and effortless, and it's 94, and it doesn't even look like he's really working. I don't know if that's just mechanics, David, or it's a gift, but the ball just jumps out of his hand.
Another factor that Joe Girardi talked about before the game is kind of a long arm, real smooth delivery.
High fly ball, shallow left. Conforto retires Young for the second out.
You can see this is the long arm because he drops it straight down, gets full arc. The arm swing for a pitcher is kind of like the golf swing for a golfer. The wider and longer the arc, the more fluidity and more power you generally can generate. Almost opposite of his teammate Noah Syndergaard, which is more of a short arm action right out of the glove. Long arm means longer arc, a short arm means a shorter arc.
Fouled away, 1-1. One and two. How about this home run by Greg Bird in the final game at the Tribe? Hit one of the catwalks. A monster shot right down the right field line. 7th home run of the year.
David, you were talking about a golf swing. That's called hitting one pure right there. Perfect mechanics, bat head out in front.
He had a couple of long home runs down there in Tampa. The one to dead center was impressive as well. This was a key matchup for Greg Bird here tonight. A tough lefty, and Brian Cashman sort of admitted that they got caught short in finding out about Mark Teixeira's injury too late. Otherwise, maybe he could have gone and found a right-handed hitting first baseman to complement Greg Bird. And of course, Alex Rodriguez not playing first base leaves Greg Bird in this spot.
Right in on the hands.
You know, there was a little bit of a conflict too. Joe Girardi, the manager, wanted Alex Rodriguez to take more reps at first base for this particular situation right here, and then into potentially the World Series. But General Manager Brian Cashman nixed that idea pretty quickly and said they didn't want to put Alex in that situation.
This is what you like about Greg Bird, though, whether it's a lefty or a righty, a big game or a game down in Tampa. Doesn't seem overwhelmed. You know, he doesn't seem to swing at pitches out of the strike zone. Alex Rodriguez, just a spectator until maybe he gets a pinch hit appearance.
2-2. Check the swing. Did he go? No, said John Tumpane.
A side view.
Fouled away.
Figure out what these pitches are. They're about 86, 87. They almost look like a little cutter. That big breaking ball that we've seen early on.
There's some pitchers that can manipulate their changeup a little bit, keep it away, maybe a little cut action.
High fly ball, left center, drifting over Cespedes. 3 fly balls, and the Yankees are down 1-2-3 against Mats. We go to the bottom of the third. It's a 1-1 game on Yes. State Cadillac dealers. Visit CadillacTristate.com for exceptional offers. By Heineken, open your world. And by the Jeep Celebration event going on now. Citi Field, outside modeled after the old Ebbets Field. And the Empire State Building, lit in the covers of the Mets and the Yankees. Blue and white for the Yankees, blue and orange for the Mets. And a full house here at Citi Field in Flushing. And they're watching the 1-1 game as Wilmer Flores will lead off the bottom of the third inning. And a strike. Flores, Mats, and Granderson. Audi A3 scoreboard 1-1. And the 0-1 pitch. Well, for Met fans, the story is well known. Wilmer Flores was crying on the field thinking that he had been traded to Milwaukee in the Carlos Gomez deal. But the Mets never really officially announced it, and Gomez didn't pass their medical muster. So when Gomez found out he wasn't coming, Flores found out he wasn't going, and has been one of the Mets' most important players since that time.
Yeah, the organization turned on a dime in about 48 hours. Even if the Gomez trade went through, his production has been nowhere near what Cespedes has provided for the Mets. So fortuitous is not enough.
Popped up behind the plate. There's one away. Time now for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag YesDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Well, all the stars aligned beautifully for the Mets. The Gomez deal fell through. Reading a story by Joel Sherman in the Post the other day, they were having discussions about Justin Upton, and then the Padres won that game against the Mets, and the Padres said maybe we still have a chance, pulled back, didn't trade Justin Upton, and then Cespedes came here, and the rest, as they say, is history. Cespedes has been great for them. He's been so great in such a short stretch of time that some people have actually talked MVP. Probably be impossible for him to win it with 59 games with the Mets in the National League, but I think he'll get some votes. He might be in the top 6, top 5 maybe. Bryce Harper probably wins the award.
Bryce Harper's numbers are just too good to deny.
0-2 on Mats. Mats' debut in the big leagues was against Cincinnati on July 28th, and while he pitched very well, he opened eyes with a 3-for-3 performance at the plate. Also drove in a run. Swing and a miss. But he goes down on strikes against Tanaka.
Big difference between the two starting pitchers is pitch count. Tanaka, his 30th pitch here with 2 outs in the bottom of the third, in complete control with the exception of 1 pitch to Lucas Duda, which he didn't get back. But on the other end, Steven Matz has got double that pitch count.
Coming out of spring training, Mets really didn't have a leadoff hitter. Curtis Granderson didn't know he was going to be the Mets leadoff hitter till a day before opening day, and kind of settled in nicely. Done a pretty good job.
I've even noticed the first 2 at-bats of this game, he's different in that he's more patient, obviously leading off. The power is still there, the 23 home runs. You can tell Kevin Long, the hitting instructor, is kind of gone back to school with Curtis Granderson. Now you watch him mechanically. The hands are back to start with. A little bit of movement with the hands, gets his front foot down as Kevin Long looking on. Longtime Yankee hitting instructor.
Well, he's been the best player on the Mets from day one, all season long. Obviously, Cespedes has been a lightning bolt for the Mets, but of the guys that have been here since day one, this guy has been their best everyday player.
The 2-2. Swing and a miss. Granderson down on strikes. And Tanaka works a 1-2-3 inning here in the third. Let's go to the 4th inning at Citi Field. It's a 1-1 game. This Subway Series is the wild card leading Yankees take on the NL East leading Mets. Coverage begins at 12:30 on Fox and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Right after the game, the S is going to have Yankees extra innings post-game coverage, again immediately following the game on Fox. Lincoln scoreboard 1-1. Yankees and the Mets. John Ryan Murphy leads off. Pitch up and away. 1-0. Justin Smoke with a 2-run double now ups the Toronto lead to 3 runs. It's 3-0 over the Red Sox. Mets carry 11 pitchers in their bullpen. They have 8 righties and 3 left-handers. Their closer has been great all year, Jeurys Familia, so you don't want to take a deficit into the 9th inning because he usually closes it down. Middle bullpen, a little questionable, but the back end with Clippard and Familia, pretty locked down.
Familia, especially as of late, really taking it to another level. Learned how to throw a little splitter to complement his high 90s fastball.
3-1 fastball fouled back, and it's 3-2.
Seen Familia flash throwing 95-mile-an-hour splitters to end games recently and sending hitters back to the dugout shaking their head.
And the 3-2 to Murphy. He swings and misses. 1 out.
Shows you something right there. A 3-2 changeup when he was behind in the count 3-0. A couple of fastballs and then a perfectly located changeup. It's another look on Yes Mo, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. Good look at the grip. Good look at the action down in the zone.
d'Arnaud setting up right down the middle too on that 3-2 changeup.
Grounded to second. Murphy gets Gregorius.
Steven Matz really looking for a quick inning here, and Brendan Ryan should probably take a strike and try to put an at-bat on him. Push him well over the 70 pitch mark. Swinging at the first pitch and making an out right here is a mistake.
One and 0.
On top of that, any way Ryan could get on base and clear the pitcher spot. Such a big part of the National League style of game.
And you know what? Hitting 8th in a National League lineup is so tough because you start playing mental games with yourself. Tanaka on deck. There's an RBI situation. Are they going to pitch to me? Are they going to pitch around me? Obviously, in this situation, Matz will come right at him. That 8th spot in the lineup, not an easy place to hit.
Another changeup. d'Arnaud, pretty good job of framing.
Comes back with the fastball 2-2. Matt steals. Strike 3. Ryan down looking. So the Yankees go down in order. Coming up for the Mets, Yoenis Cespedes. He has been on fire since putting on a Met uniform. He'll start off the bottom of the 4th against Tanaka. It's with MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy live look-ins, highlights, replay reviews, scores, StatCast, live radio broadcast, and more. Get MLB.com at bat now. A couple of Yankee fans here at Citi Field. Certainly well represented. When the Subway Series was at Yankee Stadium earlier in the year, a lot of Met fans made their feelings known. So it's become a great rivalry, and I don't know if it'll ever surpass what happened in the postseason. Lincoln Scoreboard 1-1, because when you meet in the postseason, the World Series, that's about as good as it gets, and I think that's cheapened the regular season Subway Series since then. But this one has the most at stake, so it has a more of a buzz and electric feel to it. Cespedes is going to be a free agent at the end of the year. And a lot of the discussion is, well, will the Mets be able to keep him? Will they want to keep him? As he grounds to Gregorius. And he kind of showed his hand a little bit today to ESPN Deportes, where he said, well, I'm not going to negotiate before I become a free agent, but the one thing I will say is that the contract has to be at least 6 years long. So he's going to turn 30. That'll take him to 36, and we'll see if the Mets play in that arena.
I think his eyes have been open to this market. You know, not really having played in New York or not knowing much about the Mets.
Ground ball to first. Bird. 2 away. Tanaka could have a nice, easy inning here.
You know, once you get a taste of this market, Flash, and you know you play for a New York team either side of town, the Yankees, obviously, with all the championships, it's a different level, and you feel it. You feel the excitement, the fan base, their knowledge, something David Wright knows also well. I think Cespedes has been surprised by that. And depending on how far they go and how their season finishes, will go a long way towards influencing both Cespedes himself and his agent and the Mets in their front office.
Here's David Wright, who grounded to short in the second. And Tanaka, figuring that Wright was going to take a pitch, threw one right down the middle, strike one. Just 38 pitches for Tanaka, 2 outs into the 4th inning. And the 0-1. 1-1.
Just getting back to Cespedes, he has proved to everybody that he can be a superstar in the big city. Not only the Mets, all the other clubs around Major League Baseball, you don't have to worry about the big stage now with that guy. So his bargaining power would be at an all-time high.
Ground ball in the hole, and under the glove of a diving Gregorius, a 2-out base hit for Wright.
Well, the pitch is down, but Wright does a good job of pulling it. He finds the hole. Another good pitch from Tanaka down. It's been very sharp tonight. It's only been, as we said, just one mistake, and a ball that was hit hard off of the bat of Lucas Duda.
And here is Lucas Duda. Crushed one against the facing of the second deck in right field in the second inning to tie the score at 1. That's where we are right now, bottom of the 4th.
There was a time about a month and a half ago with Tanaka that you would question, what are you going to get every time he takes the mound? Sometimes it took him an inning or two to get into a rhythm, give up some early runs. Lately, pitching like the guys the Yankees paid a lot of money for. They're going to need him down the stretch.
And now when it's hammered to right field, it's a base hit. It'll go to the wall, played out there by Beltran. Wright's at third, they're going to hold him right there. It's a double for Duda. And second and third, 2 men out.
Well, we've talked about how good Tanaka has been, and every time I talk about it, Duda walks up to the plate and he hammers one. Last time it was a home run, this time another hanger up in the zone. For a guy who's been struggling, he's gotten 2 freebies tonight, a couple of mistakes, really the only 2 Tanaka has made. He's taken advantage of it.
Yeah, this one fortunate because it stays in the ballpark, and a good relay from Beltran to keep David Wright at third base. It's 2 outs. You get a chance to pitch around this 2-out double from Duda.
So here's Travis d'Arnaud, tapped back to the mound in the 2nd inning. Crowd energized here at Citi Field. And that one is chopped to Headley. And he gets d'Arnaud for the final out of the 4th. No runs, 2 hits. The Mets strand 2. We go to the 5th. It's a 1-1 game on Yes. Blue Jays, the Orioles 12 back, race 14, and the Red Sox just a half game away from getting out of last place. As Torey Lovello's done a good job as interim manager. That team's played well. Here's Tanaka leading off the 5th against Matz. And a strike to the Yankee pitcher. Bigelow T scoreboard 1-1.
Listening to Bob Lorenz in our studio talk about Marcus Stroman out on the mound for the Blue Jays. He's actually a high school rival of Steven Matz. So Long Island producing some pretty good top flight pitchers.
Yeah, that would have been a good high school game to see.
Tapped back to Matz. Fields. And gets Tanaka.
Matz against Stroman in high school. You better get there early, right? It'll be over in about an hour and a half. Stroman went to Patchogue Medford High School.
Here's Brett Gardner. Gardner walked and scored in the 1st, singled to left center in the 2nd. He's playing center and leading off today as the Yankees giving Ellsbury the day off. Since coming off the DL, Ellsbury a 200 hitter against left-handed pitching.
Got to be a fine line for a manager, doesn't it? I mean, the numbers that you just mentioned against lefties, he's struggling a little bit, but Jacoby Ellsbury, right? Your starting center fielder, your leadoff guy coming down the stretch.
The guy you're going to need down the stretch. You know, it happens to every player. It happened to me. I'm sure you too, Flash. When you're coming back from an injury, even though psychologically you know you're healthy, there's still a tendency to favor that injury, to compensate for it. We've seen a little bit of that with Ellsbury in the box. He hurt his knee actually batting in the batter's box. And since that point, a lot of ground balls. And the Yankees staff has talked about, maybe he's favoring it just a bit, trying to get him to get through the baseball with his swing, a true weight transfer, as opposed to kind of just holding back a little bit, kind of sitting back and spinning off the pitches and beating them into the ground.
Strike 3, and Gardner knew it. 9 in a row retired by Matz.
We'll get a look right here at the pitch. Got a little cut spin to it, Flash. We were trying to figure out whether that was a changeup or a little bit of a cut fastball. See, it's got plenty of plate.
Well, the Yankees made him work early and didn't really capitalize on a few hits. Now all of a sudden he's finding his groove.
Hadley's 0 for 2 tonight. Fly ball to right, fly ball to left. There's a base hit for the Yankee third baseman. A 2-out single for Hadley. This is the first regular season game between the Yankees and the Mets played after the All-Star break. They played each other the weekend before the All-Star game in '99, 2000, 2001. Beltran single to right, just a bloop single in the first, and a fly ball to center in the third. Yankees have 5 hits. The Mets have 3. We're in the top of the 5th inning at Citi Field. Ground ball is short. Flores goes the short way, and that will do it. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We're halfway through here at Citi Field. Yankees and the Mets tied at 1. weekend of the regular season. The Yankees take on the White Sox on Sunday, September 27th. And the first 10,000 guests 14 and younger in attendance will receive a limited edition Yankee Stadium exclusive Tide Beanie Buddy named Cleats. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit the Yankee Stadium ticket window, Yankees Clubhouse shops, or you can call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. Well, we have a pitcher's duel here at Citi Field, 1-1 as we go to the bottom of the fifth and the bottom of the Met order. Here's Michael Conforto. A lot of trepidation by the Mets to call up Conforto. Was it too quick through the minor leagues? And boy, he has really acquitted himself well. 295, 7 homers, 22 ribbies, and a lot of big hits. Bigelow T scoreboard shows a 1-1 game.
Who gave me the heads up on this guy was Lee Mazzilli. Lee's son was roommates with Conforto in the minor leagues, saw him play a bunch. He said, Flash, this guy, the real deal in the minor leagues, and he's bringing it up here to the big leagues.
On both sides of the ball, played a good left field. Kind of reduced Michael Kadire to a role player at this point, a platooning at first base with Duda.
And sometimes with young players, he came up, he got off to maybe a little bit of a rough start, got sent down just for a little bit, and then was right back in the big leagues. And since August 21st, hitting .347. Sometimes it's that little breath of fresh air, gets sent down, okay, let's regroup and come back. Different player. Usual for Tanaka to be behind in the count. He's been throwing everything for strikes early on. Conforto in the driver's seat here, 3-1.
Classic Tanaka, even at 3-1, a backdoor cutter, just never gives in. You hardly ever see Tanaka just fire a fastball down the middle and say, here it is, hit it. Just not in his DNA. Tanaka shaking 3 and 4 times on this 3-2 pitch with John Ryan Murphy. That's not to get to a fastball if I'm in the box.
3-2. Hammered foul. I saw that guy earlier. That is one heavy Met jersey. And there's a Jeter jersey. Swing and a miss. Tanaka wins that battle.
Well, 3-2, of course, he's not going to give in. Tanaka with that devastating splitter. It looks like right down the middle. Conforto hasn't seen a splitter quite of this quality. Reed's fastball way out in front. Right over the heart of the plate. The best place for it.
Count 1-0 on Flores.
Talked about Tanaka's delivery, the long stride. I don't think we've seen anybody quite this low since Tom Seaver, really. That's almost Seaver-like, and look how long that stride is. Really full extension with the front leg to get out that far, and a lot of depth with that back knee, almost on the ground.
Line drive, left field. It is a foul ball, hooking foul.
Again, David not giving in a 2-0 count. It's an off-speed pitch, and Flores just out in front. Can't keep it fair. Get out in front, you hook it a little bit, it's going to end up in foul territory, not by much. You know, you think about catching Tanaka, and you can call any pitch you try to get in his head. 2-0 count. He just went with a little slider. He can sneak the fastball by you late when you have 2 strikes and maybe you're sitting off speed. A lot of fun for John Ryan Murphy behind the plate.
We talked about the Cespedes trade and the nixing of the Carlos Gomez trade by the Mets front office, and a tumultuous 48 hours in the organization's history. Since that trade, Flores, the last 30 games, a .309 hitter with a .515 slugging average. So you combine his stats, so you would have lost in the first trade with Cespedes. Big turnaround.
Ground ball is short. Gregorius waited. Has plenty of arm made up for it. 2 away.
One thing about this Mets lineup is they are free swingers, very aggressive swingers early in the count. And so far, Tanaka really taking advantage of that with 55 pitches here in the 5th inning.
We talk about the split all the time, and it's a devastating pitch, but the slider probably deserves more credit than we give it. 40 strikes and 15 balls. He's doing a good job with the slider, moving it off the plate away to the righties. Not easy ground balls.
That's one thing I've noticed too. I'm glad you brought it up, Flash. His slider's getting more depth too. Earlier in the year it was a little flat at times and up. Tanaka really getting a good feel for that pitch as well.
0-2. Tanaka off the mound. Field sets, fires, and he gets Mats for the final out of a 1-2-3 inning. Nice play by Masahiro Tanaka. We played 5 at Citi Field in Queens. Yankees won, Mets won. Brought to you by Verizon Fios, the fastest, most reliable internet. It's Michael Pineda, 10-8, 4.25 against Noah Syndergaard, 8-6, 3.20. Syndergaard is a much better pitcher statistically at home than on the road, and that game will be on Fox. But Yankees extra innings coverage on Yes will immediately follow that game on Fox. What a beautiful night here in New York City. All glory. Straight out against the wind as we go to the 6th inning. Chris Young drove in the Yankees' only run in the 1st inning with a sac fly, leads off the 6th, and takes a strike from Mats. That one's looped into right center field. It's going to dunk in for a base hit. So Chris Young with a leadoff single here in the 6th. And that brings up Greg Bird.
I'm sure that the pitch count is now going to be something that the Met coaching staff is going to pay attention to. Matt's only threw 89 pitches his last time out.
He's really settled down and looked like the Yankees had him on the ropes in terms of pitch count early. 60 after 3.
One and 0, pitch 91. Chop to Murphy. There's one on to first, and the throw gets past Duda. Backing up is Darno, but it hit the fence in front of the Met dugout, so Bird stays put.
Well, we talked about Flores and how well he swings the bat. Murphy, the good throw. Throw from Flores offline. Luckily for the Mets, it hits that fence in front of the dugout, comes back to the field to play.
Even though that didn't work out, notice the different type of footwork from Flores compared to Gong in Pittsburgh when we showed that video earlier, where that devastating injury to the Pittsburgh shortstop. And similar timing on the play. Almost like Gong came towards the base runner instead of back or away.
David, we were talking early on about the Mets paying attention to Matz and would he be able to handle the playoff start in this environment tonight. He's handled himself very nicely. Got off to a little rough start. I think the Mets have to be very happy with what they have seen.
Slow roller to right. Bare man fires. Nice play by David Wright as Bird advances to second.
Watching David Wright early on throw the ball across the diamond, he's very comfortable with that low 3/4 arm angle. And this play, a do or die. And once you get a grip on the ball, his throwing motion is right there, that low 3/4. Great look upon Yesmo on how he spreads his fingers and gets a perfect grip. That does not happen every time. Takes advantage of it with an accurate throw.
David Wright always been one of the best in the National League at making that particular play.
So the go-ahead run is in scoring position at second base. And here's Didi Gregorius. He's 0 for 2 against Matz. And a strike on the outside corner.
Look at Didi's numbers coming into this game, hitting over 250 against lefties, and you think all the way back to Tampa and spring training, well, you'd have to have a right-handed bat for the platoon. Those days are over. More than holding his own against left-handed pitching.
Good pitch right at the knees on the outside corner. 0-2.
You know, as we mentioned from Matz, it's been a different story these last 3 innings. Gregorius having a hard time tonight picking up the ball off of Matz. 60 pitches after 3, and now 1 pitch away from getting through 6. So a little over 30 pitches, 36 pitches plus here in the next 3 innings. So he cut his pitch count in half, almost.
One and 2.
This start had a chance to really get away from Matz early. So in some regards, that's even more impressive for a young pitcher to bounce back like that on a night when he struggled early.
Just missed the outside corner.
Good pitch by Matz, down and away just off the plate, and a better job by Gregorius to lay off.
Darno, Tony Pena style, down on one leg.
Bird leads off second, and the 2-2. Fouled it off.
There's the pitch you want if you're Didi Gregorius. It was elevated a little bit, up out over the plate. Doesn't look like Matz is real comfortable going in on lefties. Gregorius looking out over and had a good pitch to hit. Just worked underneath it a little bit. Get the feeling Gregorius coming out over the plate, David. If he could locate a fastball inside, he'd probably get him.
This will be pitch 100 for Matz. The 2-2. Fouled away. And got a piece of the catcher's equipment that I guess takes some of the stress off the knees, right, John?
That's what it's there for.
But you don't buy it.
No, that's what they say. It takes the stress off of the knees.
You didn't do it?
I tried it one time and did not feel comfortable doing it.
Okay.
I didn't feel like I could get as low as I wanted to give a target.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, runner at second. 1-1 game, 6th inning. Matz gets the sign and deals. Squibbed out towards short. Flores fields, fires to first, not in time. Gregorius beat it out as Bird moves to third.
Well, we've seen Didi Gregorius kind of hang back on some ground balls, and he's got plenty of arm strength to make up for it. Flores takes his time, and then he tries to deliver the strong throw. Gregorius just beats it out. You're going to lay back and take your time. You better make sure you have enough arm strength to make the play.
Clearly safe from that view. The foot is down before the ball hits Duda's glove. And yes, this is on Flores. You got to come hit this ball. You know, Flores not a shortstop by trade. The Mets kind of forced him into that position this year out of need. Although Tejada has played much better as of late.
So Dan Warthen comes out and talks with the rookie left-hander.
There's some action in the Mets bullpen. Just thinking there, maybe, you take your shot with Alex Rodriguez. You don't know when you're going to get an opportunity. You wonder if Robles is ready to go. Looks like Brendan Ryan's going to get the at-bat.
A lot of options here for Girardi. You could send up A-Rod at this point because you know that Matz has to pitch to the batter. But he's electing to stay with Brendan Ryan. Ground ball is short. Flores flips to second, and that will do it. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 men left on base. Matz works out of it. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Well, all of that adds up to 1-1 as we go to the bottom of the sixth. The pitcher's duel indeed. Steven Matz, a rookie, pitching very well on the big stage, and Masahiro Tanaka, David, has done another very good job.
Well, he has, and this is kind of a microcosm of the style that Tanaka features. When he first came over, nobody kind of thought, knew what to expect. Is he a power guy? He's going to blow guys away? No, what he does is he gets hitters to chase pitches out of the zone better than anybody in the major leagues. All of these pitches look like strikes and end up out of the strike zone. That's Tanaka's specialty, better than anyone.
Granderson leads off, takes a pitch low, 1-0. It's a 1-1 game. Yankees have 7 hits, but Matz has escaped jams, and the Mets with 3 hits, 1 big blow. Lucas Duda, a 1-out solo home run in the second, tied the score, and that's where we are. The place to be, Tom Brokaw and Henry Kissinger, interested observers here at Citi Field. And the 2-0. There's a strike.
Been kind of a different Curtis Granderson approach-wise for the Mets this year. Taking more pitches, not swinging as many pitches out of the zone. From his Yankee career, like that right there. Obviously different ballpark when he was a Yankee. Hit over 80 home runs in 2 years, 83 home runs over a 2-year period for the Yankees, but chased a lot of pitches. Not so much anymore. Clearly, he's made an adjustment.
High pop-up. And Young makes the play. It happened so quickly because Brendan Ryan swung at the first pitch. You almost wonder, why wasn't Alex used there? You were locked into Matz because Warthen had just made the trip, so you could not counter with a right-hander. You might not get that situation later in the 9th inning. Alex Rodriguez might have to face Jeurys Familia, so that might have been the chance to get him to swing the bat.
Quite possibly. I mean, it's legitimate. Joe Girardi always likes to save his pinch hitters like Alex for later in the game if possible. If I'm Steven Matz, I'm going ahead and I'd walk Alex anyway. I wouldn't give in to him. I'm not sure if a rookie pitcher's in that position, but a pitching coach would go out and talk to him.
And there's a strike to Cespedes.
That's a good point, actually, that Meredith Marakovic brought up, too, that if you pitch around Alex and walk him, then you're in the position with Tanaka to pinch hit for him at that point. And Girardi doesn't want that decision maybe right now. He wants Tanaka to stay in this game. In a 1-1 game. So the National League style, obviously more strategy, more of the extra guys get used in this game, more pinch hitting opportunities, more relievers have to be ready to get used.
Joe's going to have a tough decision leading off the 7th. Tanaka's supposed to lead off. Only 65 pitches, another strikeout. Well, Tanaka's been so good, and he's done a nice job against Cespedes tonight. Let's look at that last at-bat pitch by pitch. A little split for a strike. Then you go down out of the zone, as David has been talking about all night. Might as well do it again. Get another strikeout, a swing and a miss. Tanaka very sharp.
It's one of the things that a lot of scouts will take note of as you try to get a handle on this new Mets look in this lineup, and they are very aggressive. So pitchers like Tanaka can really take advantage of that.
If you want one negative about Cespedes, and you really have to dig for it, he has not hit here at Citi Field since coming over the Mets. Coming into this game, 15 for 69, 217 average with just 5 home runs. And now he had an 0 for 3 today, so he's 15 for 72. I mean, he has owned the road, but has not hit well at home. There's a strike to Murphy, and the count 1-1.
Well, the one thing as well, we talked about it in a hitter scouting report, he's only walked 30 times all year. So if you're an opposing pitcher, you can really just expand out of the zone and use his aggressiveness against him. Obviously, you make a mistake, it goes a long way, but you can pitch to him. You have the experience.
There's a strike.
It is that time of year, right? You got all the scouts in the stands now, potential playoff teams. Every at bat in the playoffs, you can dissect them. It becomes so important, the advanced scouting.
The 1-2. 2-2.
Tanaka in a position in a 1-1 game here with the 71st pitch coming and getting much deeper into this game.
2-2. We always talk about Tanaka working on extra rest. Now, the Yankees always gave him an extra day because it was health-related choice, not a quality-related issue. On normal rest, 12 career starts in the bigs, 6-3, 2.88. So they always gave him the extra rest just to make sure he was healthy, but he always has pitched well on the normal rest. And he's doing it again. And if he pitches on Wednesday against Toronto, we'll see again. High fly ball, deep right center. There it goes. See ya. A home run by Daniel Murphy, and it's 2-1 Mets.
Another off-speed pitch up and out over the plate. We talked about the Mets being extra aggressive, swinging at a lot of bad pitches, but what they do well is they don't miss cripple pitches. Ryan Murphy's setting up in a slider that stays out. And Murphy with a latch and a lean. So 2 mistakes from Tanaka, 2 home runs.
Here's David Wright against Tanaka. And a strike.
We were talking about that slider early on. What a good pitch it has been tonight. It's to Murphy, not a great slider, and he hammered it. That one right there to David Wright off the plate. Tough to hit.
There's a base hit to center field for Wright. His second hit of the night.
We'll get a look at Murphy setting up in for a slider that's supposed to be in off the plate. You see the spin kind of loose, just set right there. David Murphy with a big swing, full extension. Or Daniel Murphy, rather. Changes the equation for Joe Girardi now in his decision making with Tanaka. Now clearly a pinch hit candidate, as opposed to staying in this tie game.
Well, before you get to that, this guy's been swinging the bat well. He's got a couple of mistakes and hit both of them hard.
And there's a strike to Duda.
Sometimes a defining game for a pitcher can be when you do make mistakes, what happens with them. They don't always leave the ballpark. Tonight for Tanaka, the 2 mistakes he did make left the ballpark.
I was wondering maybe if the fastball would show up a little bit more now, because we've been watching Tanaka split, slider, and Shreve getting loose again. You got to keep major league hitters honest with a fastball every now and again. It doesn't have to be a strike, but you got to get them off the off-speed pitches. Just threw a nice fastball in off the plate to Duda. We'll see if he goes back away off speed.
1-2.
Hitters get excited when they see a fastball and they see velocity. Oh, okay, he's going to start challenging me. All you got to do is show it off the plate. You go back to your game plan, splits away.
Going to the 7th in Toronto, and the Blue Jays lead the Red Sox 6-1. Now Girardi's going to have an interesting decision in the 7th. Down 2-1. Do you let Tanaka hit? What would you do? I mean, everybody out there, you have to manage along. Manage before he does it. I'm sure that's what he's pacing, thinking about.
It's just too late in the game to give up at-bats. You know, I mean, normally you would pinch hit for Tanaka. I would. Got to get out of this inning, like you said, Flash, first.
Yeah, it was a tough decision a couple of batters ago. Now that you are behind, you have a runner at first, and the pitch count now is going to be above 80.
2-2. With National League rules, obviously handling the pitchers is a much more difficult thing to navigate for a manager, because you just keep running him out there until he hits a certain pitch count. Here, there's got to be a strategy involved. Do I give up an at-bat, like David said, to keep in a pretty good pitcher?
1-1 game, yes.
Yeah.
2-1?
No.
And the pitch. 3-2. Darno is on deck. Runner will go. And the 3-2. Ground ball past a diving bird, fielded by Ryan, and he flips to Tanaka for the final out of the 6th. But the Mets get a run on 2 hits. 1 man left. The big blow off the bat of Daniel Murphy. Second home run allowed by Tanaka, and it gives the Mets a 2-1 lead, and Girardi a tough decision in the 7th. Makes the Verizon call to the bullpen. Steven Matz's night is over. And we have a right-hander who comes in now, and that is hard-throwing Hansel Robles. And the Yankees counter, as we surmised, by pinch hitting for Tanaka, and they will send up Jacoby Ellsbury against the right-handed Robles. So the Yankees are down 2-1, and we've told you that Toronto doesn't seem to be breaking a sweat against Boston. 6-1, top of the 7th inning. So the Yankees come into this game 3.5 back in the AL East.
And just to give you an example of the stylistic differences between American and National League, Yankees have 86 at-bats this year that are pinch hit opportunities. Jacoby Ellsbury is going to be number 87. San Diego Padres lead the National League. They're over 250 at-bats, pinch hitting at-bats, a lot of them for the pitcher in these types of games.
And Ellsbury swings at the first pitch and pops it up, shallow left. And Conforto makes the play for the first out. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. Now let me throw this at you, some backward managing. If they sent up A-Rod and they walked A-Rod, would you have pinch hit for Tanaka then with the bases loaded in a 1-1 game?
I think your bullet was sending Alex up there. You were trying to score a run, so I would think you would probably have to.
Right.
Yes, you got to double down.
Which would have hurt. Which would have hurt.
Yes. You'd have to double down.
That's a good way to put it.
Yes. Hoping for a face card.
Yeah.
Right, and you're running out of money. There's an 8-3, and you have to double down. Looking innings ahead. We're in the 7th right now. It's 2-1 Mets. And we did tell you about Familia. That is that's not anything you look forward to if the Yankees to face him in the 9th inning. So here we are in the 7th. It's 2-1.
It's the bridge getting to him that's been a question mark. Tyler Clippard coming over. He's done a good job. There's a Yankee pen. A couple of lefties getting their guns hot.
Justin Wilson is up. Three and 1 on Gardner. A strike, so the count is full on Gardner. Gardner is 1 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. He scored the only Yankee run. That was in the 1st inning. A walk to Gardner. A single by Beltran moves Gardner to 3rd, and Chris Young with a sac fly to center. The only run they get against the rookie Mats. 3-2. Swing and a miss. Chased a high fastball. Might have been ball 4, 2 away.
I think it would have been ball 4. He throws hard, you're dialed up for the velocity, and you expand up out of the strike zone. It looks so good when it's elevated, just so hard to get on top of.
Gardner's facial expression tells you all you need to know. He knew right away.
And here's Hadley. 1-0. Robles throws hard. 1-1.
always the hardest pitch to hit. Up and in, right on your hands. Your hands have to really travel further to hit that pitch. That's why fastballs appear faster in this location. You can see Headley having to fight to get the barrel of the bat there and late. Pitches on the inner half, fastballs appear faster. Effectively, from a speed standpoint, are quicker. It's the hitter whose hands have to travel at a higher rate of speed and get there, have to travel further to get to that pitch.
Two and two on Headley. Headley's 1 for 3 tonight.
There's some pitchers that pitching coaches say you got to keep the ball down. That's how you're going to be effective. Robles is not one of them. You elevate above the hands with that type of life that David's talking about. Boy, that is tough to handle. And as a hitter, you're telling yourself, get the ball down in the zone. A lot easier said than done. With the quick pitch right there. Abbreviated stop. Had to catch Headley looking right there. Chase Headley does a nice job just fouling it off.
He has angered some opponents with that this year.
Yeah, Philadelphia. Larry Boa came running out of the dugout, almost had a bench clearing brawl on a similar play on a first pitch, and that was a trick taught to him by Latrell Hawkins. When Hawkins was a Met here, who's now in the Blue Jay bullpen. But Troy made a call to the Mets clubhouse and said, you can blame that on me. I taught him how to do that. And
2-2. Strike 3. Headley down looking, and the Yankees go down in order, and Headley does not like the call and discusses it with James Hoy. It looked like it was a bit outside. 6.5. Time for the 7th inning stretch in City. 2-1 Mets. All right, let's take a look now at the game summary, which is brought to you by Nissan. 2-5-0 for the Mets, 1-7-0 for the Yankees. A sac fly by Young in the first inning. The Yankees only Uribe. Duda a solo home run in the second. Murphy a solo home run in the sixth. And that's it. That's where we stand at 2-1 Mets lead. Haven't announced it yet, but it looks like a sellout crowd here at Citi Field on a Friday night in New York City. And the new pitcher for the Yankees is Justin Wilson. check that. That's Chase and Shreve they brought in. Wilson was warming up earlier, so Chase and Shreve on the mound. He will take over for Tanaka. They've also inserted Ellsbury in center. They moved Gardner from center to left, which means that Young is out of the game. And that means that the pitcher Shreve will bat second in the 8th inning. Obviously, they will pinch hit for the pitcher, but you lose Young's bat. Ground ball to third. Headley gets Darno for the first out. We go back to the studio on Bob Lorenz. Thank you, Bob. Here it's 2-1 Mets, bottom of the 7th. Chasing Shreve on in relief of Masahiro Tanaka. And now Michael Kadire will pinch hit for Michael Conforto.
This is another example of the weapons that Terry Collins has now. Conforto has added as much depth to the lineup as anybody this side of Cespedes. And Kadire can now platoon in left field or first base.
Well, Collins in the first half of the season had one of the weakest benches. Now he has 12 players on the bench. He has 8 right-handers, 3 left-handers, and Eric Young, a switch hitter who can also pinch run. So a lot more maneuverability, which means that the Mets will have a lot of decisions to make when they make their postseason roster as well. And there's a strike to Kadire. Juan Uribe has changed the face of the clubhouse when he came along with Kelly Johnson. There's the Met bench and what's available.
Taking a lot of pressure off of Juan Lagares, who was the opening day center fielder. More of a 4th outfielder type. Much more comfortable in that role. Same could be said of Tejada too. Not really the everyday shortstop, but in a utilitarian role, very good.
And a strike. 3-2.
It's another good game from Tanaka. But the home run ball kind of plagued him, as it has really all year. 2 more. That'll give him 24 on the year in 23 starts. He gave up 15 last year. It's one of those years where even in his really sharp games, the long ball has really hurt him.
Strike 3. Kadire down looking. Well, as promised earlier in the game, we've selected the Data Strong fan photo of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag #YesDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Vilma Sindoni. Look at that cute little fan. Up very late on a Friday night. 2-way here in the 7th, and here is Wilmer Flores. Broken bat, looper, and a base hit.
It's a pitch that's designed to be away. It looks like a splitter that he gets off the end. It stays up. Flores, a really good fastball hitter. Actually, more on the trademark there. So it looked off speed and up. Flores just kind of jammed himself with it, but fought it off and traded a bat for a hit.
Well, now Juan Uribe will pinch hit for Robles. Pitch outside.
It's more another piece of the puzzle here. Uribe coming off the bench, and I think I invented a word there, utilitarian. No,
it worked perfectly.
Just invent words right and left here.
You know, but if you think about postseason baseball, a lot of times it's the bench players that get opportunities to come up with that big hit. Terry Collins has a lot of options now.
Fly ball, right field deep. Going back, Beltran turning, looking. See ya. A pinch hit. 2-run home run for Uribe. And it's 4-1 Mets.
Boy, Terry Collins has to be loving it in that Met dugout. Now the choices that he has. You send up Kadire, it doesn't work out. Now you send up the veteran Uribe, a 2-run bomb the other way. Veteran guys on the bench who have been there before. They know what their role is. They get an opportunity for a pinch hit. They are ready for it. And boy, he felt good about it right away. Then he starts thinking maybe it doesn't have the carry, but it did. That's a huge swing of the bat right there.
Curtis Granderson takes a strike.
It's another off speed. Looks like a splitter, and it's up from Jason Shreve, who continues to struggle. And Uribe's got this kind of power the other way to stay back on that off speed pitch and launch it to right field.
Well, if you were constructing a team, you'd love to have those veteran guys on the bench who don't complain when they don't play. I know they might get one swing of the bat, and they are mentally as well as physically prepared for it. That's a tough role for a young player to have. Now the Mets don't have to worry about it. They have some veterans on the bench, and they're producing.
Driven into center field deep. Going back, Ellsbury. He's there and makes the play in front of the track for the final out of the inning. All with 2 outs. A single by Flores, broken bat variety, and a home run by Uribe. Is it a broken back variety? By the Dodge Performance Days event going on now by People's United Bank NA, putting the power of know-how to work for you and more. You Try Honda dealers. Hurry to your local Try Honda dealer for great deals on the 2015 models. Well, it's very, very clear that Jason Shreve is not the same pitcher that he was for the first 4 months of the season. First 5 months of the season, he had a very shaky last 2 weeks, and he gives up that home run to Uribe, and you wonder whether or not that's a backbreaker for the Yankees in this game as we go to the 8th. Addison Reed comes on. The Hyundai scoreboard shows the Mets up 4-1.
Addison Reed was a big pickup for the Mets. Kind of under the radar. Struggled a little bit this year, former closer. He's really picked it up a notch for the Mets and filled the hole in that bullpen in the setup role here.
Well, we've seen him at his best, with the Chicago White Sox, right? Struggled a little bit this year, went down to the minor leagues, been traded back over here, now throwing the ball well. Lagares in for defensive purposes in center field. Cespedes moves over to left.
The White Sox and the Diamondbacks the last two years for Reed.
Brian McCann pinch hits for Chase and Shreve.
Look, these Met relievers coming out of the pen just letting it fly. A lot of fastballs, a lot of elevated fastballs.
Popped up, left side, long run for right. He gets there. 2 away here in the 8th.
This kind of game has really exposed the entire roster depth of both teams. Where the Mets are, it's a strength. Juan Uribe coming off the bench with a big pinch hit. Michael Kadire is an option. You've got Kelly Johnson still on that bench, which might be a reason why Joe Girardi left Chase and Shreve in to face the right-handed batter. But nonetheless, the Yankees short on the bench. You know, have no real option at first base. For Greg Bird, the lefty, starting against the lefty. Alex Rodriguez not being able to play first base. General Manager Brian Cashman talking about learning about the Teixeira injury too late to make a move to add to that depth.
Grounded foul by Bird.
Dustin Ackley, the one deal that Cashman did make, and now that he's healthy, he's looked pretty good and paid some dividends. But the Teixeira injury really showed up tonight in my mind, and Alex Rodriguez's inability to play first base.
That's what the Yankees have left on the bench. And Bird goes down on strikes as Addison Reed has a very strong 8th inning. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Mets 4, Yankees 1. crucial three-game set with the American League East leading Blue Jays in Toronto. Coverage starts at 6:30 with the Tri-State Ford pregame. Then Al Leiter and Ken Singleton will join me for all the action right here on Yes. Right now, Toronto leads Boston 6-1, bottom of the 8th inning. And you just heard that crowd as I was reading that promo, the crowd cheering as Miami leads Washington 3-2, top of the 8th. And if the Mets win and Washington loses, the Met magic number will go down even more. Brandon Pinder will take over here in the bottom of the 8th inning for the Yanks. And he'll face Yoenis Cespedes. Hyundai scoreboard, 4-1 Mets lead, bottom of the 8th. They announced the crowd 43,602 here at Citi Field. That is a sellout on this Friday evening.
The Mets, Flash, gave up another top prospect to make the Cespedes trade. Michael Fulmer was a top prospect in AA, another pitcher. High promise that was given up.
Fly ball, left center, long run for Ellsbury. He gets there. One away.
A couple of young pitchers at the Mets with so much depth in their system, having developed this young rotation and more in the way. A guy named Luis Cessa, too, was included in that deal for Cespedes, but a lot of people feel Fulmer was the next one that was going to push up here in the big leagues. Had great numbers in AA this year, and the Mets gave him up to get Cespedes.
Here's Daniel Murphy. His home run in the 6th against Tanaka broke the 1-1 tie. 3 home runs by the Mets against the Yankees, accounting for all 4 runs. One quick note about the attendance. The 43,602 is the second largest crowd in the history of Citi Field. The first one is opening day of this year. The 1-0. There's Familia getting ready. I don't know if there's any right answer to this. What do you guys think the issue is with Shreve? Is it he hasn't been used as much in his whole career, and he's finally run into a wall?
Tell you what, a big league season for a young kid, any kid, a position player or pitcher or reliever, is a long year. A lot of times you'll see it during the month of September more than you would early on. I just think he's hit that wall, David.
Well, there's a couple of different things to look at. Certainly what you just mentioned, you look at his minor league track record, never been in this many games before. That's the first thing you look at. And then all of a sudden the command. The first thing to go is command with pitchers before a velocity drop. A lot of people look for velocity drops. Command is the first thing. He's lost command of his fastball like he had in the first half. Therefore, his great splitter has become less effective, and he got burned tonight with a couple that were up in the zone.
I remember back going through the minor leagues, a 5-month season, it felt like a long year, and then you get to the big leagues and you're halfway through September going, wow, this is really taking its toll, and physically as well as mentally.
You know, the third thing is in the big leagues they adjust to you. You know, you tricked them in the first half, the first go around the circuit, and word got out, hey, this guy's got a great split. And then they started not swinging at it quite as much. So the league has adjusted a bit as well.
Knowing that and seeing it and watching of late, there has to be a revelation at some point to the guys making the decisions. Maybe it's not a good idea to bring him into close games because he has not pitched well of late. That one's hit deep to center. Going back, Ellsbury on the track at the wall, leaps and he can't make the play. Murphy will go to third, and the throw is not in time. A triple for Murphy.
It looked like it was one of those situations. If you're Jacoby Ellsbury, you're not 100% sure in a visiting park. He leaps and he's got plenty of room before he gets to the wall. Actually had a few more steps, and it kind of triangles out there just to the left of center field off the top of his glove, but he had a couple of more steps. Because of that, Murphy's able to get into third base with the hook slide with his hand.
Murphy swatting away flies as Headley trying to keep the tag on. Quirky part of Citi Field out there, and Ellsbury landed a little bit awkwardly.
Yankees bring the infield in for David Wright, and there's a strike.
Another big swing from Murphy.
Hit off the top of his glove. 1-1. There's a strike. 1-2. Nice block there by Murphy.
Murphy makes it look so easy behind the plate. Such a simple move, going to his right, blocking the baseball. You're looking for the breaking ball off the plate. You want to get right to swing at it, but able to get there and use his chest protector. This is perfect. You need a strikeout. You either run a fastball in on his hands, throw that breaking ball down and away, or you elevate a fastball and stay away from contact here.
(4-1). Mets were in the bottom of the 8th inning here at Citi Field. And they are threatening with a runner on third and one out. Yankees have the infield in for the cleanup hitter on the Mets, David Wright. (2-2). Missed inside. 3-2.
It's supposed to be a breaking ball off the plate away, and it kind of backs up middle in. You see Murphy setting up away, slides his body middle in. They don't get the call.
Clearly was on the plate, too, as you can tell by the overhead camera.
And he walks right, and another block by Murphy. And here comes Girardi with runners on the corners and Duda due up. He's going to the bullpen. Yankees trying to hold it right here and make a run in the 9th. They trail 4-1, but the Mets threatening. CFC goes for their second straight win at home when they host the San Jose Earthquakes at Yankee Stadium. Catch all the action of New York City FC presented by Etihad Airways tomorrow night at 7 right here on Yes. Now, NYCFC beat Toronto 2-0 on Wednesday, and Frank Lampard scored his first goal. All right, so James Pazos takes over for the Yankees. Eric Young Jr., the pinch runner, at third base for Murphy. Duda at the plate. The lefty Pazos deals, and that gets past Murphy. Here comes Young. Right goes to second. It's 5-1 Mets.
Well, Joe Girardi has talked about it, not knowing what he's going to get from a lot of these young relievers and maybe asking too much. And right out of the bullpen, you want to make sure you get it down and away to a power hitter and just yanks it in the other batter's box.
The 1-0. The way this Yankee bullpen has evolved, and with Adam Warren now out of the bullpen and in the rotation, you are putting kids, untested kids, in high leverage situations, and I mean, we might be finding out something about them, or they just might not be ready for this.
Yeah, I mean, he really needs to find out in a hurry, does Joe Girardi.
And we've seen Pinder, we've seen Rumbelow, we've seen a lot of these youngsters. Pazos, they've had their moments, but they have struggled as well, and again, in high leverage situations, because you can't use Betances and Miller every day.
Yeah, I mean, you could see the uncertainty on Joe Girardi's face and not knowing where to turn, Flash, and a little uncertain of his bullpen pieces other than the main three guys.
Fly ball, left center, deep. Ellsbury on the warning track makes the play. Tagging is right. He'll go to third.
You know, for me, this really seems like an opportunity to find out about Ivan Nova in the bullpen. You know, I've always thought that his two pitches would play better in the bullpen. He had trouble starting because he only has two pitches. His changeup, you know, really isn't as developed. But you see, Girardi's going to make another move, but it's on Girardi now to try to find the right mix down there.
So Joe Girardi will take the ball from Pazos with Darnell due up. You'll get all the highlights from tonight's Subway Series opener, plus a look at the latest playoff race standings with scores and updates from around the league. It's all coming up on the WB Mason Yankees postgame. That's only on Yes. So now Andrew Bailey, the veteran, will try to retire Travis d'Arnaud with 2 outs and a runner at third. Swing and a miss.
The Yankees have worked everything down and away. A lot of sliders to d'Arnaud. A couple of easy ground balls. No reason to change. Looks like he's looking to pull early in the count.
When you have a situation like the Yankees do with their bullpen, and you know, other than the 3 guys, that it's very fluid, as you see Familia standing by just in case. And he's been incredible lately. Just puts Joe Girardi in search mode. You know, every inning, like this inning for Bailey, can change everything. You have one good outing, the pecking order is so fluid that guys could leapfrog each other. I mean, you know, you've got Miller closing, you know you got Betances following him up in the 8th, and you know you have Wilson. Other than that, it's a very fluid situation right now, and that man's in search mode right now. And you need to find somebody quick. Whether it's Andrew Bailey or you give Ivan Nova a shot down there, a la Phil Hughes back in the 2009 season. Nova's 95, 97 mile an hour sinker might play well for 1 inning with a curveball. Take the pressure of starting off of him. You might need to find out.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bailey deals. Foul back.
Bailey, the one guy down there with experience. Closing, was an all-star, rookie of the year. It's just a question of how far he's come back from that shoulder surgery.
2-2. Strike 3. 94 on the outside corner. But the Mets get an insurance run. 1 run, 1 hit. 1 man left. We go to the 9th. Yanks down by 4.
Mets have done a lot of their damage with the home runs tonight. Lucas Duda started it off in the bottom of the second. A solo shot of Masahiro Tanaka. Daniel Murphy comes back a few innings later. Another solo shot on the slider. Up to right center field. Tanaka doesn't like it. And then the big blow. Juan Uribe going the other way against Jason Uribe. 2-run shot. Those 3 home runs. Your Land Rover drives of the game.
Well, let's see if that's enough for the Mets as they bring in Jeurys Familia. This is not a safe situation, but the Mets want to lock it down and get out of Citi Field with the first win of the Subway Series. This will be the 70th game for Familia. 41 saves and 46 opportunities, 77 strikeouts, 71 and 2/3 innings, just 51 hits and 17 walks. Throws hard, and he will face Dustin Ackley, pinch hitting. So the Yankees have to rally here in the 9th. And a strike.
Familia really has taken the next step recently. Those 97 miles an hour plus with a sinker. He's got an 89 mile an hour slider, and that last pitch was a splitter in the mid-90s. Adding that pitch to his repertoire is a game changer. I don't think there's anybody in the game that can throw a 94 mile an hour splitter right now. Diving off the table. So that's happened over the last month or so, the last 15 games.
Driven down the right field line. That ball is a fair ball. And Ackley starts off the 9th with a pinch hit double. He's been very good off the bench. I believe he's 3 for his last 3 pinch hitting.
Impressive, as Ackley has shown bat speed, Flash. And this was a 98 mile an hour fastball. And it's hammered right down the line off the bottom of the wall.
Well, sometimes you wonder about pitch selection. I mean, obviously 98 with movement is nasty. 94 split. Ackley took a terrible swing at the split before that. Familia tried to throw a fastball inside, maybe elevated a little bit. Right in the wheelhouse for Ackley.
Here is Gregorius against Familia. 97 by him. Alex Rodriguez is on deck. The 0-1. Ackley leads off second. Top of the 9th, nobody out. Yankees hoping to rally the 0-2. 1-2.
Terry Collins not taking any chances with Familia in this game, even though they have a 4-run lead. Their magic number is dwindling. They could see the finish line right now collectively as a team. Terry Collins, once again, is not going to chance it.
Grounded foul.
You got a day game tomorrow. Maybe you could have, pushed the system a little bit and saved Familia for tomorrow. Not when you're this close to the finish line. And that's why Familia's in this game. even though it was a non-save situation, although he may work it into a save situation himself, although it would not count, obviously.
That's what the Yankees want. They want some negative thoughts in his mind. Obviously get some runners on.
And the 1-2. Grounded foul. Ackley led off with a pinch hit double. He leads off second. And the 1-2. Grounded to short. Flores guns down Gregorius, one away.
Rodriguez.
The boos are for Alex Rodriguez. The shortstop is Tejada. They replaced Flores with Tejada at short. And Flores moved to second because they had pinch run for Murphy. So here's Alex, who will pretty much be a dangerous pinch hitter for these 3 games in the National League ballpark. He simply cannot play in the field. It would have been a perfect time to put him at first base against the left-hander instead of Greg Bird, but he has not felt comfortable there, and Girardi has not felt comfortable asking him to feel comfortable there. Swing and a miss.
Well, he gets an opportunity here to maybe extend the inning, but really there was a shot to put him in the 6th inning and take a chance to get a go-ahead base hit. Numbers against the Mets are good.
And this is also what we talked about in the 6th inning. Even if they had replaced Matz at that point, they're not bringing in Familia. Now, Alex Rodriguez has to come off the bench cold and face a guy throwing 97, 98 miles an hour. And he had a chance there in the 6th to maybe take control of the game. But they elected to have Brendan Ryan hit, and he swung at the first pitch and grounded out. And that, I'm sure, will be a topic of conversation after the game, and we'll hear it on the post-game show. 1-1. 2-0. Wow, he has life on his fastball.
It's not only 96, 97, that good movement, that good sinking fastball David talked about. With all that being said, Alex Rodriguez just took that pitch like he saw it really well out of his hand.
Two and two. Is at second, 1 man out. 5-1 Mets lead the Yankees. We're in the top of the 9th inning, first game of the 3-game weekend Subway Series at Citi Field. And the 2-2 just missed. 3-2.
Looks to be just in off the plate as you see the movement from the catcher's glove.
And the 3-2. He walked it. So Alex pinch hits and gets a walk. And that puts runners at first and second with 1 man out. And it'll bring up Ellsbury and bring out Warthen, the pitching coach, to talk with Familia.
Well, you're always going to second-guess pitch selection when you walk somebody. You have a 4-run lead. Familia did not come right at Alex Rodriguez. He went with the split and missed badly there. Now all of a sudden some of those bad thoughts that we were talking about, Dan Worthen, the pitching coach, comes out. Perella is a pinch runner. If you're the Yankees, you've kind of planted the seed that things could get away from the Mets closer here.
Now, if Familia came in right now, this is a safe situation. As David said, the tying run is on deck, but you can't pitch yourself into one, but he has to pitch his way out of this.
You pitch somebody else into one who's
Yes.
going to relieve him if he keeps struggling.
Brett Gardner's on deck. Ellsbury pinch hit in the 7th, swung at the first pitch, and hit a fly ball to left. Strike. Ellsbury is 2 for his last 31. Broken 0 for 25 on Wednesday, leading off the first inning against Tampa Bay with a single.
Yeah, and his pinch hit at bat just lasted 1 pitch. Swinging at the first pitch, popping it up.
The 0-1. Grounded off of Familia into foul territory, and the bases will be loaded. So the Yankees will bring the tying run to the plate.
Well, not only is it a non-safe situation, you're going to get a little shin burger to take it with you. I mean, that is a ricochet on a direct hit up the shin bone. Those do not feel good, Flash. Still got scars on my shin from some of the ones I took, and you better be checked right here. And now your closer not only is struggling, he just took a bullet off his leg. And yes, that's going to leave a mark.
Well, they're going to let him throw a couple, see if he's okay.
Remember those bad thoughts? Well, now 1 swing of the bat. Tie ball game. Amelia says he's okay.
Now, this was not released during the game, but being reported that when he did the interview with MLB Network, which is broadcasting the game around the country, Terry Collins said Tyler Clippard has a sore back, so he's not available today. That's why we haven't seen him. They've gone with Robles, Reed, and now Familia. And Clippard just a spectator. Well, not much offense for the Yankees, but now they can make it dramatic here in the 9th inning. Brett Gardner's always hit well with the bases loaded. A .343 lifetime hitter, 2 out of the park. One and 0.
Familia does not look like that type of guy you can be thinking home run. All that pitch is moving down in the zone when he's right. The good split, the good sinker. And Brett Gardner just stay on one right back up the middle, just like Ellsbury showed you.
Two and 0. Yankees showing some life here in the 9th inning, down 5-1, but they have the bases loaded with 1 out. And Brett Gardner at the plate with a 2-0 count against the Met closer, Jeurys Familia. There's a fastball strike.
Well, if you were ever thinking about taking that 1 swing to tie it up, that was the one right there. Middle in. Lefties love that pitch down and in. You can drop the bat head. Gardner takes it.
2-1. 2-2. 97 on the inside corner.
It's a little late movement, as you see, coming back just a bit.
See, Brett Gardner really opens up with that front hip. Fastball velocity will make you do that, and then it ran right back to the inner half.
Two-two. Fly ball left field. Cespedes is back. Will make the catch. Ackley smartly stays put as the throw is cut off by Wright. The Yankees are down to their final out.
Well, nice comeback from Familia here after falling down with an elevated fastball up and then way away. Now you're 2-0, bases loaded. Come back and start painting the inside corner 2 in a row right there. No messing around, go right back to it a third time, and he beats Gardner there on the inside corner. Brett just fought it off. Got a fly ball to left out of it.
So here is Chase Headley.
City Field sellout crowd on their feet, chanting. Very much playoff atmosphere here.
And a strike. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Headley the tying run. Yankees down 5-1. And the 0-1. 0-2.
Well, since he's gone to that fastball inside, everything has come back together, and a good split right there that Headley swings right over the top.
And the 0-2. Swing and a miss. And the Mets win 5-1. So the Mets whittle down their magic number, and the Yankees' chances of winning the American League East kind of slipping away.
Well, yes, they really did, and Joe Girardi felt the need to leave both Alex Rodriguez and Brian McCann on the bench with the starting lineup. That's a lot of home runs on the bench for a team that really relies on the home run. So the Yankees lineup out there today produced 1 run and shows you what left-handers can do. Steven Matz, the lefty with power stuff, really affected the construct of the Yankee lineup tonight.
Well, all smiles for the Mets, and for the Yankees, they lose the first game of this 3-game set. The rookie Matz wins. When we come back, it'll be after the studio with Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry. They're going to set the table for the rest of the night.